We've got a very exciting day planned for you here today at Rolex on the final day of competition and the show jumping phase. We'll take you through the course with the course designer himself, as well as interview riders following their rides. We're joined now by stadium course designer here at Rolex, Richard Jeffery. Richard, walk us through what goes into the thoughts behind a course like this and what you have to do in order to prepare to make the course come to life.
Well, the first thing is that it's not really like a regular Grand Prix that I normally do at a regular horse show. In fact, I feel much happier if I was doing a regular Grand Prix because I know the horses, I know what they're capable of. And the thing is, they had a hard day yesterday. So coming into the ring, I'm not sure, how fresh they are, how tired they are. So you have to sort of think that more than just think of a regular Grand Prix. But basically what I'm trying to do is it's not like a Grand Prix where I'm thinking, oh God, I want 5 clear rounds on my jump off. It's really to ask different questions. You start off quite nice, getting the horses into the course. And then some of the lines are a little steady, others a little forward, so that the horse can still be adjusted. It's really like dressage over jumps. I mean, I think that's the easiest way to say it, because just the same thing, the movements, you're going to perhaps add in a line to suit one horse, another horse may leave the stride out. And then obviously, it's not just flowing straight, you've got different changes of directions to keep the horse balanced. Like when you come to the triple combinations, and the double, one has jumped off the left lead, one has jumped off the right lead, so you're asking different questions there, and so it's equal to every horse.
And then in an environment like this ring here in Kentucky, where there are going to be a ton of people sitting in the grandstands, when you have a line like 9 ABC over there and you're going to have it going towards the people, do you kind of take that all into consideration, that the horses are going to be kind of going towards the grandstands or away, or does that not play a factor?
A little bit, but if you looked at yesterday, every cross-country jump, they were jumping into people, and I think probably our show jumpers, our regular show jumpers, would find that harder perhaps than the eventers, because I say yesterday they were galloping in narrow lanes and people, and I think once the horses start concentrate on the first fence, they concentrate on the jumps and don't do that. I mean, we're in an Olympic year. I mean, you're going to have the same atmosphere in London, so I think it's good for the horses to see that. I mean, I think the riders, if they find they've got a problem with it, that's something they can go home and work on. Getting to London and finding the problem is a bit too late. But this is a nice big ring, and it gives you the freedom to do all sorts of things. So we've got a new jump here this year that I designed for Rolex, which was the Grand Slam jump, which is the first jump on the course. The lovely thing about Kentucky is I've been coming here for so many years. This is, I think, my 15th Rolex. And I know the area very, very well. So leading up to the World Games and some other jumps we had for here, it's great because I know the environment and I know the history. And that I could pretty much tell most of the history of Kentucky, probably more than half of the Kentucky people, I think, by now.
Well, there are numerous challenging combinations on this course, and Mr. Jeffrey's been kind enough to walk us through some of those, so take a look. The first combination here is number 3 and 4, the Claiborne Farm Green Oxer to the Man o' War Vertical. Talk about this combination.
Well, this is the first real question on the course. The first 2 fences are quite nice and inviting. Here now we've got an option stride. It's 3 foot longer than a normal 6 fence stride. And I think if this was a regular Grand Prix, you'd see the regular Grand Prix riders adding the stride here, but I think the eventers may, having done the big long strides yesterday across country, would probably leave the stride out. But this is the first question on the course: do we come up here in 6 or come up in 7? And that sounds okay until you think of where the next jump is, because as soon as they land over the Man o' War, they're going to have to turn left. and come back around and jump this triple bar. So leaving the stride out may carry them further on. They may say, well, I'd rather add the stride here so I can turn sharper and save some time. So the riders have to make up the question here.
Certainly, and with time being a large factor, obviously we're going to see some riders who are going to have a plan that they're going to try to stick to coming in, and then some that are going to have to adjust accordingly of how they come over that first oxer.
Yeah, later in the course I'll show you there's a place where they can actually save some time. I always like to have one place on the course that the riders can think about. If they want to start adding strides earlier on, they can leave it out later in the course and save their time there and not get the time faults.
All right, well, let's move on to the next combination. Following jumping the triple bar at 5, riders come down to 6AB here, which is the Keeneland set of obstacles. Discuss the planning going into those and the history behind it.
Well, this is from Keeneland Racetrack here in Lexington, and what you see is the furlong markers, and they're absolute replicas from the ones at Keeneland. And then, of course, you've got the rail that runs around the track. So what we really duplicating here is the horses are jumping across the actual racetrack and doing that. But you see it's quite a lot of white in this, so I think this is going to be optical difficult for them. It's the first real combination on the course, just one stride, and we've helped them. I mean, if this is a regular Grand Prix, I wouldn't have put these ferns here at the bottom, but we're helping these people with that, so we've made it a little bit easier from there. And then from there they go on to Gainesway, the Gainesway fence, which has the lovely barns. And if anyone has visited that farm would have recognised those because they're quite famous. They've won quite a few awards when they were built. And also at Gainesway they have this 100-foot long stone water trough that runs between the barns. So we've duplicated that because when you get there and look at it, you'll see there's water under the jump. It's the Liverpool, and it's only 4 strides from here. So this whole line is going to be very influential. The riders got to think about where they are, where we're standing at the moment, how they're going to jump all these 3 fences.
And also there's quite a bit of distance in between the triple bar and this combination. How will that come into play?
Well, it can do 2 things. It gives them enough time to set up for this, or they can change their mind 3 times. And yeah, sometimes it's easier when you just got a number to do. I mean, it's actually a true 10 stride, but you might see horses doing 11 just to try to get them balanced back again. Yeah, sometimes long gaps can be harder than short gaps.
Following number 8, riders make the right-hand turn back over the Churchill Downs vertical, and then they're faced with this triple combination. Talk about the importance of making sure that you stay out long enough to get straight to this combination here in order to be successful.
Obviously, you're quite a good rider, you recognise that. Yeah, this is part of the test. You know, we course designers put in. You really got to find your track, and this, to say, makes sure that your horse is balanced and you've got control, that you can stay out, it doesn't fall in. We just came from the double where you approached it on the right lead. This time you're approaching on the left lead. So if a horse falls one way or has a preference one, it may have a problem the other way. But again, a lot of times setting up, because here we got quite a difficult triple combination. It's 2 oxers, but it's 2 strides between it. Always sort of a tough jump, and then 1 very long stride going out. I know the course designer in London for the London Olympics very well, and he is known to build his triple combinations probably a bit longer than I would normally build them. So again here, I thought leading up to it would be a good time to give riders a chance to have something. They may say, I don't know what he's going to do, but I'm just guessing, so I give them a chance to do that. So this, I say, is a little bit longer than I would normally use in a triple combination here.
Following the combination at 9 ABC, riders make their way to the FEI jump and then make the circle back to jump over the barrels, then to the Rolex fence, and then to the Mississippi boat behind us. What will it take to be successful at the end of the course?
Well, as I say, it's not all over until it's over. After the triple combination, as you said, they've got a single fence on their own, which is a bit of a breather, but it's one of the tallest fences on the course, so that on its own would do that. And then they have to think this last line. They've got to decide how sharp they're going to turn into the barrels, into the bourbon jump. So there's a little place there if they want to save some time, they can. Which may help them actually, because the striding up to the Rolex jump is just a little short. You know, we talked in the triple combination was a little long. Now I'm asking them towards the end of the course that the horses aren't too strong, that they can just steady back a little bit. So there will be an advantage actually if you cut a little tighter into the barrels, because then you can keep your horse balanced and jump that. And then again, there's an option stride here to the last fence. It's what we call a bending line, so you can either ride it direct or stay out. But there's enough room in there to do that. But again, it's a big oxer. It's probably the biggest oxer on the course. I don't think for the eventers it'd be such a distraction, because see at the back end of the boat by the paddle, we've got the river that the boat's sailing up, the Mississippi River here that borders Kentucky. I think, I say, if there's a regular show jumper, that you could see them just sort of shying away a little bit from it. But the eventers, they've seen plenty of water out on the course. They're not so spooky about it. So it's really more decorative for the public and for television than for the horses. But it's still a big jump to jump. And I say you're heading towards the in-gate, so horses sometimes just thinking that way, not paying enough attention. So as I say, it's not all over until it's over.
Well, it's certainly going to be an exciting day of show jumping here in Kentucky with the top 3 all within a rail of one another, and we appreciate you taking the time to walk us through the course today.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.
Jordan Lindstedt completing your first Rolex on your first time here. Talk about how you feel.
I can't. It's truly unbelievable. I don't even have words to put it into. My horse is absolutely amazing, and he was tired today, but he has the biggest heart of any horse I've ever been on, and he didn't really feel like he wanted to jump, but he did it, and he likes to do it because it makes me happy, and I just, going in the ring, I know that, and we're just a great team.
It's your first time here in Kentucky, but to put even more pressure on the situation, you have to go into that big ring first, not being able to see anybody else ride in there before you. Talk about kind of the added pressure of that and how happy you are that of all the horses who started, you're one to finish in a year that not many are going to be able to do that.
Yeah, going in the ring was a little overwhelming, but I've kept it very calm all weekend. I focus on Jack, and I don't really look at the crowd. Like cross country, a lot of people said when you come around to fence 5, you're going to see this big crowd. And it's going to be the first time the horse kind of sits back, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, there's so many people. And I didn't. I focused on him. I focused on his canter. And I really had the same thing when I went in there. I saw everybody, and it was a great feeling, but I focused on what I needed to achieve with him today.
The first clear round here in Kentucky belongs to the lady standing next to me, Madeline Buckman. Talk about what it's like to have that clean go.
It's amazing. It's a little nerve-wracking as you're going around, but he's an amazing horse, so very lucky.
Well, putting in a clean round with Twizzle, how does it feel to get that done?
Feels real good, real good. Crowd was amazing, and the horse, he does jump a little bit by braille, but he does know when it's a big occasion, and he always seems to leave them up, so we couldn't be prouder.
He looked phenomenal today. A very, very tricky show jumping course that you two had to face, and a lot of trouble before you. And then we were going to break for NBC here, so how nervous were you having to wait a little bit longer?
Not that nervous. It was kind of nice just to let the horse get in there and just settle in the ring. I mean, I don't want to say it was an advantage, but I was worried maybe I'd miss the bell or something, and that I'd have to explain to Jim Wilderson, his owner, why I was late getting to the start line. But luckily that wasn't the case, and it was, the horse went in there and he enjoys the atmosphere, so it's not one that you're kind of afraid to take in there. You want to ride him into a ring like this.
Feel pretty good watching these last few riders, knowing that you can't do worse than 6th?
Yeah, I'm very happy with that. I mean, this is a good group of riders, and to be in the top group here, we're happy. Obviously, we'd love to win, but I'm pleased with my horse. He did the best he could on this given weekend, and we're hoping that everybody here has good rides as well.
4 years ago, before the Hong Kong Games, I went into show jumping in 5th place, and I think I stopped counting after 5. I don't know how many rails I had down. So I've worked very, very hard. I know my bogey jump is the big square oxer over Liverpool, so I'm going to be jumping a lot of those. And but I was thrilled with him. My whole mindset, this is a tremendous horse, and he's not been easy to produce, and I've had to produce myself too. So I think, I've really worked on his skills, my skills, and then this year, I think what's been great all year long, I was excited to come in the show jump ring. I knew how I had to ride, and I felt confident in in my ride and what I needed to do, and my best was gonna have to be good enough, you know. So I am exactly where my team needs me, and I know that you know, Mark will be very supportive of, you know, whatever it takes to produce the best result for my horse. Yes, had I not gone that long route, I would have been winning, but I promise you, still, if I knew how today would have turned out yesterday, I still would have taken the long route there. That was my plan, and that was a smart thing to do. I'm thrilled with my horse. I thought 3 solid phases and good focus, and he's been great. So I think it's just a huge, huge future. I mean, we're finally coming together, and touch wood, he's sound, healthy, and got many years ahead of him.
William Fox-Pitt, the 2012 Rolex champion here. Talk about the pressure being on a little bit. Allison put it on you, and you had the one rail down, but got it done, and congratulations.
I know, the show jumping is the worst bit, isn't it? I mean, it's just horrible. And even on a good jumper, Park Lane Hawk has been fantastic all week, and you know, that's the first rail he's had down in a 3-day with me, so he's normally a very good jumper, so I was confident enough, but you know, I knew this track was causing massive issues, and it was a big course, and delighted with how he went. And yes, certainly for Allison, I mean, what a great result. How lucky am I that she got a couple of time faults yesterday, because it was that close, wasn't it? And this was just a tremendous result for the horse and for his owner, Catherine Witt, and we're going to enjoy this moment.
It's been a great week here in Kentucky, and we've certainly enjoyed bringing you coverage of the 2012 Rolex Kentucky 4-star event. For everybody who's been a part of this one, I'm Frankie Thieriot for US Eventing. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.